This is so cool.
This is my partner's old Game Boy Advance. Now, this thing is beat to threads. This was a hand-me-down from their sister, and they've just had it ever since. And so I think I kind of want to give it a little bit more love so they can put it in their purse, and if they got 15 minutes of time on their break or they're sitting on the bus, they can pull it out and they should be able to just, game a little bit. We're basically replacing everything. So now, before we jump into everything, this is my first ever shell swap for any system, really. I've really gotten in the last couple of months revisited my retro gaming handheld life. So I'll kind of walk you through the build. We'll learn as I go and show you that modding and refurbishing a lot of your, old electronics isn't as scary as what you might think. I feel like I'm tech savvy, but if I can do it, you can do it. In today's video, this is not going to be a comprehensive tutorial. This is me fumbling around with a mod so you guys can see someone who is a non-expert try and go through this so you can see how difficult this actually is. Maybe I'm overconfident in some case. So first off, we have the actual Game Boy. The shell on this one is destroyed. So what we have is we have a new shell, a full new set of buttons. Because I think the pink and this, I think it suits my partner way better. We also got this, which is just the USB-C mod, so they can easily charge everything, and then just some nice little, I think, better buttons in terms of color scheme. And we're gonna make their dream Game Boy setup. I think the Game Boy is perfect because you're able to go back and play the Game Boy Color or the Game Boy games, and the Game Boy Advance games I think are nostalgic for both of us. So for them to play some games they hadn't played before or hadn't completed, as well as some new Pokemon ROM hacks, I think will be incredible. We'll see how they like the gift. Don't worry, this is not the only gift I got them. I got a lot of other stuff. This is a gift I'm I think it could be really cool. So we'll see how surprised they are. It's currently 3 o'clock and this needs to be done before they get home from work by 6:30. So we will see what happens. For the first part of this build, we really only need one thing from the previous Game Boy, and that's the motherboard. The new kit has new screws and everything we would need to upgrade this Game Boy from its dilapidated original state to where we want to bring it to. As you guess from the absolutely cooked shell, the motherboard is not in great shape at all. So let's detach the screen's ribbon cable from the motherboard and take out these screws from the motherboard, and we can finally take out the motherboard from the Game Boy and place it to the side. Now that we've disassembled the donor Game Boy, we're going to put everything back together. Now, you may be wondering why I've changed outfits and the lighting is not the same throughout, where this bulb has changed and I'm using a microphone. That's because this is me editing the video right now. And I'm here to tell you everything that kind of went wrong with this build. After I disassembled everything and I put it back together, I actually put the Game Boy back together fully on my first try. But then I realized the touchpad was ass. And when I say ass, I mean ass. Let me get this straight. The whole process for this Game Boy is a very relatively simple process. You take apart the donor Game Boy, take motherboard, clean motherboard, replace deteriorating parts on old motherboard, the screen and the shell, and put it back together again. What I didn't know at the time, and thankfully for Jake Simmons and his second channel, Jake64, is that the Funny Playing screen is held on by nothing but a dream and pressure. And in the beginning, I thought nothing of it, but after working with it, I totally understand why every single video when a touchpad is mentioned, Jake Simmons really gets into it, because I am about to get into it as well. After realizing that the touchpad was complete ass, I knew I couldn't give my partner a Game Boy with this touchpad. So it was back to the drawing board, and I had to break out a soldering iron that hadn't been used in more than 2 years. I realized with the touchpad that it's actually pretty fucking bad. I have a soldering kit. Let me just solder it. I want this gift to be good for my partner. I don't want to skimp on anything, and if I am skimping on soldering, then kill me. So I will be right back. Obviously, after dusting off my old soldering iron, I started by pre-tinning the brightness adjustment points for the screen on the ribbon cable. I pre-tinned the spots on the motherboard as well, and if you're interested in doing any soldering, go check out Jake64's channel. It's Jake Simmons' second channel, where he has pretty deep dive tutorials on the Game Boy modding process. And I highly suggest everything there, because it helped me a lot in this whole undertaking and whole process.
So then I finally got it closed again, and the screen looked like this.
See if it actually works. Turn it on. Wow, okay, I fucked up something.
Now, in cases like this, there's one of two things that has definitely gone wrong. Because the screen worked earlier when I closed it before soldering, maybe I cut a ribbon cable in the process of opening it, or maybe something's just off. And in this case, I assumed I probably did both of those options. So the best case scenario was opening the Game Boy up yet again to make sure everything was a-okay. And when I finally fixed the screen, to say I was excited was definitely an understatement.
Oh, I fixed it. I fixed it. Oh, I fixed it. I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Let's fucking go. Okay. Whatever the fuck I did right there, 90% of problems are just taking them apart and putting them back together again. So
After all that fiasco, I made one last crucial mistake in my probably 4th or 5th time closing this device. One thing I overlooked with adding these wires was they have to be routed in a certain way. When I slid the crystal cartridge in, that one of the wires had accidentally gone into the card slot, and I pushed a little bit harder and cut the wire. With that, the screen started going in this adjustment scale brightness, and the touchpad that was connected to the front of the shell was making the screen go from 1 to 10 back down to 0, and it was completely unusable. Jake has mentioned on his channel before that this is something that Funny Playing has a history of, and sometimes these screens are just unusable. So I was worried that the screen I had purchased was going to make this whole gift impossible. With that, it was back to the drawing board. I opened up the Game Boy and I saw that I had actually cut that wire. So what I did was I tinned that wire together, taped it up to reconnect it, make sure it was all good. And in this case, the touchpad was useless because we were using the soldered buttons to be able to change the brightness of the screen. So we really don't need a useless touchpad. So after doing all that, I fixed both issues. And when I finally closed up the Game Boy, it worked. With that, Future David is out of here.
I'm not local, I'm global, I'm Mr. Worldwide. In a club, I'm yelling, darling, like Mr. Worldwide.
Okay, baby. Close your eyes. Hands out. Are you gonna open them? What do you think?
This is so cool. This is so cool. Oh, how did you do this?
Your acting is impeccable.
I'm not happy. This is so cool.
So when you turn it on, if it's too bright, right? You hold this select button, and then you go left and right.
Oh my god.
So you can go like really dark.
That's
then,
how
like,
my old Game Boy was. Was like literally no light. Oh my god. Good. This is a good. This is so cool.
So then when we get the
What?
I could put a charm?
yeah. Wait, where's the charm that?
This is my keychain duo right now for the moment. Little Karopi charm that he got me at a gachapon. And there's a little tiny poppet for a little fidget. This is gonna go on the Switch. Or on the Game Boy Advance.
And that's the final product right there. I'm gonna use that thumbnail.
I can play my strawberry shortcake game.
Yeah, it's literally a Game Boy.
I'm so excited.
Like,
My
there's-
old one would always glitch out after the second level of the strawberry shortcake game.
that's what do you mean? How would it glitch?
I don't know. It might have been the cartridge.
I think it's the cartridge.
But it didn't give me anything else to do after a little bit. This is going in my purse.
I know.
I'm so excited. Thank you, babe.
So,
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
at the end of the day, all that trouble is worth it for this smile.
It was cheesy.
I would rank this modification probably like, it was actually pretty like easy at the end of the day. Just annoying as hell. But if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. I think it's a simple, easy mod that anyone can do. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
I'm not local, I'm global, I'm Mr. Worldwide.